Ray McKinnon, you created and produced the series Rectify on Sundance TV. It tells the story of Daniel Holden, who is released from death row after new evidence comes to light in his murder case. Where did the idea for this story first come from?
Well, it was inspired by a number of true life stories about men who were exonerated based upon DNA evidence all over the country. Really, you kept hearing case after case when the technological abilities of deciphering DNA became more available to law enforcement, despite in many cases their unwillingness to even test DNA. And you just would hear the stories of a particular man who'd been on death row for 20 years, and suddenly he's let out of a box. And I would hear these stories, and you would just really hear about what they were going to do that first day or that first night to celebrate. And I started wondering what the second day would be like, and the third day after such a stark existence for so long, with the threat of execution hanging over your head. And that was the genesis of the story. I think there was also other things that I wanted to explore, the prison industrial complex, the nuclear family, the man who fell to earth. There's lots of plot lines that are running through the story that interest me personally, and somehow it came together as a story.
Is this this character Daniel Holden, is he, his personality or his case, is it modeled after anyone in particular, or is sort of a composite of different things that you've seen?
Well, I don't know how my subconscious works, and there have been plenty of doctors who've tried to figure that out and have given up. But I think for me, I wanted this to be a fictional piece. I wanted this to be out of the imagination, not a story based upon real life cases, because I think fiction in its own way can explore truth in a way that that nonfiction can't. Nonfiction can explore truth in a way that fiction can't. But this, I wanted to be very, very much a piece of fiction, and so I didn't want to model him after anybody specifically.
And recently I had a chance to talk with Aiden Young, the star of the show, and he mentioned that you actually almost decided to play the role yourself. What was the process of developing this character before you eventually got to casting Aiden Young?
I think Aiden, like his character, is misremembering the reality. I never thought of myself in this role. When I first wrote it, I never thought of anybody in the role. It was probably the first thing I've ever written where I truly thought of the characters and not someone who would play the role. I'm too old to play the role, so I never really saw myself in that regard. I had this image of this fictional character, and I saw a lot of wonderful actors who came to audition for the role, but it really was not until Aiden showed up at the 11th and a half hour, an audition tape that he sent in from, I think, Thailand, where he was off doing a movie, that I went, oh my God, I think I won't kill myself now. I think we might have found the man to play this role, which, is a very challenging role because of all the characters asked to do and be.
How is it, working with Aiden, given the fact that, you're also an actor and you've been, developing this character for some time, how does that, relationship, that working relationship go between, you as a producer and sometimes director and him as an actor?
It's very difficult. He's strong-willed. He's really smart. He has ideas of his own. He's a little wacky. He's sensitive, he's passionate, he's all the things Daniel needs to be. He has to be all of those things. Truthfully, it's a very close relationship. It's a very intimate relationship, and I love him. you know, and he at least tolerates me, and I push him and challenge him, and he challenges me, and that's the nature of the push and the pull of a collaboration when it's so emotionally charged as this story and this character is. And you know, it'll be something that'll keep tie us together for the rest of our lives.
The series deals with a lot of harsh realities, you know, of Daniel being released from prison, but it also goes to some, you know, surreal, dreamlike, you know, places like, you know, if Daniel himself is on illicit substances, or sometimes just the sort of trance-like quality of him being free after spending so long in prison. What made you, you know, want to, you know, conceive of some of those more surreal places, those, you know, unusual kind of dreamlike episodes in a sense?
I think, you know, again, it goes back to what fiction can do. You know, if it's more reality based or based on something that was a quote unquote true story, it starts to limit your imagination. And for me, it was more of an unconscious thought and feeling coming out and manifesting itself into the story. I mean, I didn't consciously think I'm going to, you know, create a character called the Goat Man, and it's going to head off in this direction. I think it just starts manifesting, and that's a, you know, part of the imagination. The same thing with Kerwin in season 2, the first episode. You know, I didn't really plan that. It just started happening as you connect with the muse or the source or that alpha state that sometimes you can find yourself in under the haze of writing.
You know, like obviously we don't want you to spoil it for us, but you know, I was wondering if that was a question of his guilt or innocence. Is that something you decided from the beginning, or is that a decision yet to be made, or you know, somewhere down the line?
I'm going to take the fifth on that one. I don't want to incriminate myself by speaking about something that he or I may or may not have done. So at this time, I'm going to refer all of those questions to my lawyer.
Well, you know, in the second season finale that aired last summer, you know, regardless of what's coming up, you know, you built more tension to that mystery, you know, having Daniel try to confess to the crime in order to, you know, just to accept a plea deal and put the whole thing behind him. And he has this emotional breakdown when he's delivering that confession. You know, you wrote that script, you know, along with Kate Powers. What was it like, you know, writing that scene and then shooting Aiden's performance of it?
Well, I mean, truthfully, that scene was being being written up to the last minute, and I even added another couple of paragraphs the morning that we were shooting it, and it's, you know, it was probably 10 pages of mostly Aiden speaking, and I said, buddy, I'm sorry to have to do this, but I added some more lines. I pulled a David Milch on you. And you know, but you know, he was nonplussed and took it all in, and it was really an amazing evening of watching him perform this quote unquote confession. It delves into, you know, memory, and can we trust memory as fact? When does forced confessions become forced memory? There's lots of threads throughout that confession. I think for me, as watching this come together, I wasn't sure if any of this was going to work, and I'm never completely sure, but I felt like as I watched the scene play out and I watched Aiden's performance and Michael O'Neill's performance, I went, I think this is going to work. And I also went, oh Lord, we're in a corner now. What do we do to get out of this? You know, we really painted ourselves in a corner. But some people said that's the best way to do it if you can get yourself out of that corner, which is still remains to be seen.
You and Kate Powers also wrote the episode last season, Donald the Normal, which was nominated for a Writers Guild Award for episodic drama. Was it especially meaningful to be singled out at that event by your fellow writers?
Well, I wasn't singled out. Kate was involved. No,
I mean,
I
the
was
two.
I was gratified. I was very gratified that Kate is getting recognition as a writer. So that was a great feeling. As far as my own recognition, I'm always distrustful of anybody that recognizes me for anything. Uh, so I'm always suspect. It's hard to believe I came from a little town in Georgia, and when things like that happen to me or for me or about me, I can't help but remember where I came from and be a little still full of wonder about how I got here, and so I'm always brought back to where I'm from when something like that happens.
And it's happened again recently. I mean, Rectify. It was announced that Rectify had won a Peabody Award, which is this prestigious honor that considers everything from radio and TV and news. What was it like, getting that news that the show had gotten that recognition?
Well, it was a complicated response because I'm right in the middle of trying to figure out season three, and my process. I look at the raw material of what we have for season three, and I'm very concerned and slightly pessimistic. So while people are recognizing, the Peabody is recognizing what we've done in season two, I'm really neurotic about season three. So I don't think I can truly enjoy or experience the magnitude of this honor right at this particular moment. I think one day I'll be able to sit back and realize it more fully. It is a great honor. It's a great honor for the show. It's a great honor for so many people who've helped me to make the show what it is. And so I'm happy for everybody, and it's humbling.
And the Peabody Awards are actually being held tonight as we're recording this. Does it take some of the pressure off to already know going into an awards that you've won? There's not that wonder of the nominations and a name is announced and someone will win.
Perhaps. I mean, you certainly should prepare a speech for sure, because you're probably going to go, unless they change their mind at the last minute, go up there. In that regard, and the other regard of so many esteemed human beings who are going to be there, that from all kind of journalistic fields, it's you wonder why am I here? But I'm going to try to enjoy it. It's not what I like to do best. I like to pretend with imaginary people and live in a life of fantasy. So this is another kind of fantastical life that I'll try to enjoy tonight.
One of your big previous brushes with award success, of course, was your film, The Accountant, your short film in 2001, which earned, some accolades on the festival circuit, and then, of course, won you the Oscar for Best Live Action Short. Short films aren't as quite as widely publicized at the Oscars as feature films are. What was the whole process and experience like bringing a short film to the Oscars?
Surreal, it was very surreal. I just wanted him to make a movie. I was in my 40s. I wanted to make a movie since I was in my 20s, and I could never, for lots of reasons, summon up the courage and the passion and the faith to make that happen. And with the help of my wife and Walton Goggins and Lisa Blunt, and that I was able to finally make a movie at that ripe old age, and I wasn't sure it would be any good, and I felt like if it's not any good, we only have to show the few investors in the movie, and then we can go about our business. And I had no idea it would continue to have the life that it had and that it continues to have. And I'm very grateful for, those that helped me push forward and finally make that first movie. Because it had that wonderful award, and it's been life-changing for sure. But it also led, to me continuing to tell stories and be able to tell stories, and that's what's happening right now, and that's a great life to live.
In the first two seasons of Rectify, you only directed one episode, the first season finale, Jacob's Ladder. Did you direct any for this upcoming third season that's going to air soon, or do you have plans to direct more episodes in the future?
Well, I'm there on set almost all the time with directors. It's a very collaborative enterprise on our show, and so it's all of us together. It's a socialist enterprise, and that's the way it should be, I think, for this show. I did officially direct episode 6 of this season, and maybe if we do more, I'll probably have that official title at some point again.
Have you ever considered, being an actor yourself, taking a role on screen on the show?
I have considered that, and there are many reasons that thankfully I didn't follow through. One is it's so overwhelming to do what I'm doing as the showrunner during production that, acting for me is very difficult and takes a lot of preparation and practice and thinking about the character, and I don't feel like I have the bandwidth to do that. And secondly, I think at this point in the evolution of the show, for me to show up and break that fourth wall as a character just for some reason doesn't feel right for the show. Maybe that'll change. I don't know, but if the actors start seeing me as another actor, they may start rebelling against me as their quasi-father figure.
Now that you've had a good deal of success as an actor and a writer and a director throughout your career, is there one hat that you think that especially you identify with, like you're a writer first, you're a director first, or an actor first?
I think retirement is the hat that suits me best. No, I don't. I just think of all as parts of storytelling. I love storytelling. I love exploring the human condition through the fictional form, and whether I'm serving that as an actor or as a writer or as a creator of the show, it's all very creative. They all have their pluses and minuses, and I'm glad I get to do them all.
Well, I want to, thank you again for talking with me today, and congratulations on the show, the third season coming up, and have a great time at the Peabodys tonight.
I'll do my best, Daniel. Thank you very much for your support.